we'll do the best we can, Mackenzie. If there's a problem, you'll be getting this recording and we'll caption the other recording as well.
Hello, everyone. Test 1, 2. Greg Killam, can you hear me back there? Right on. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Welcome to Queen's Place and Air Centre. It may be stormy and raining outside today, but rest assured, it's golden in here. It's exciting to once again be in front of Olympic Wall, celebrating the achievements of so many accomplished athletes in our region, some of whom are with us today. The successes have been frequent and front-page news of late, and to provide you with a recap of the present and the future, this will be led by the following individuals. Bruce Rainey has joined us today as our MC, CEO, Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. Welcome, Bruce. Mike Reed, CEO, Special Olympics Nova Scotia. Michael. And Earl Melky, Coach Special Olympics, Lunenburg, Queens. Earl, welcome. Now they will take you through some amazing stories and introduce you to these wonderful athletes. And first to say a few words, Her Worship Mayor Darlene Norman, Region of Queens Municipality. Darlene?
Wow, what an exciting week this has been. Many medals won, Canadian records set, and then set again. We are honored to be here today surrounded by these champions. I'd like to express my gratitude to the Special Olympic athletes, their coaches, Abigail Smith, and to Sarah Mitton for making time in their schedules so we can have this community celebration. I'd especially like to thank you, Sarah, for being so generous with your time during your very, very brief visit home. Sarah, we're so proud of you. World champion. All of Queens County is going to be cheering for you at the Paris Olympics. Today is about honoring the work it takes to become a champion. The athletes here today have trained, practiced, and followed their dreams. You are all role models and an aspiration for not only young athletes, but for everyone who has a dream. Perseverance and hard work yield results. So I'd like to conclude by saying that everyone is very proud of each and every one of you. You are such great ambassadors for Queens County as you compete across the country and around the world. So Bruce Rainey, who was noted as the CEO of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame, is going to speak next. Bruce has broadcasted for CBC 10 Olympics up to now. And this summer, Bruce is going to be at the Paris Olympics. Rooting on Sarah.
I'm not covering shot put, unfortunately, but I'll be watching TV. It's very nice to be back. Thank you so much for the invitation. I have enormous admiration for this community, this county. You look at the wall behind, this is clearly a county that believes in preserving sport history, and that is so, so important because you don't want the stories to ever die or even fade away. And the reason is these stories are so important to pass along to kids, you know? Kids today need to learn from stories like these that you can win with grace and lose with humility, that words like perseverance and hard work aren't just cliches, they're real and they can yield results. But most of all, I think kids need to learn that even if you're from the second smallest province in Canada, with the stars aligning and a bunch of hard work behind it, you too can become a provincial, national, or even world champion from Nova Scotia. There are some athletes here who had wonderful showings the past week in Calgary at the National Special Olympics. And a guy I admire very, very much is the CEO of Special Olympics Nova Scotia. Let's give a warm Queens County welcome to Mr. Mike Mitton.
Thank you, Bruce, and welcome everyone. It is always an honor to be here. Not used to getting an applause in this rink. Usually I'm on the ice and you guys are all booing me because I'm repping the junior B game. So this is really nice. I used to think of 2022 as a year, and now I think of it as a distance. And we'll certainly understand that as the afternoon goes on. Special Olympics, our mission is to enrich the lives of individuals with an intellectual disability. And we can't do that without our dedicated coaches. And there are many here today. You're going to hear from Earl, but Betty Ann is sitting here who has had a lifetime impact. Behind her, Jennifer Chase, Brenda Huskins, and I'm sure many more. It is a community effort that changes lives. And the truth is, practicing Jamie Belong. You snuck in here. Little games in 1995 and on the wall there. Right up there. So practicing, sport and practice really does make a difference, but it's really going to provincial, national, and world games that changes lives, and we've seen it. And that is why I am not going to take so much time today to introduce one of the three coaches that were at the national games in Calgary just last week in the -21. And because truly that is where lives change. That is where we bring athletes back and people say they are a different person than when they left. Whether it's independence, whether it's a week away that they've never been on their own for that long, the self-esteem and all of that. And that is really a direct result of great coaching and leadership. So I'd like to congratulate Betty Ann and Earl and Susan, who's not with us today, and introduce her to Mr. Athletes.
Appreciate those kind words. I am a little more scripted. This should have been Susan Inglis up here doing the speech. She's not feeling well, so it's been handed over. And I'm just thrilled to be able to say a few words as well. Now, glasses. Yeah, is that not loud? Can anyone hear me? Not loud. Is this one on?
What do you think, Steve? You think maybe we could turn this one on? Let's try this. He can get that right into his...
Test. So, good afternoon and thank you, Mike. As one of the coaches for Team Nova Scotia, I've got the honor of providing a few details on our athletes and their accomplishments at National Games in Calgary. There's way too much to fit in this short period of time, but I'm going to touch on some highlights, and then we're going to move over to the athletes and really find out what was important for them and what they enjoyed the most. As I said, this was Susan, had done a lot of prep around this, and unfortunately she can't be here, but I know if it's live stream, she's watching us right now, so that's great. Just the level, like Mike said, the level of commitment and hard work and effort and everything that went into getting these athletes there is like really second to none. These are three snowshoe athletes that made it by competing at provincial games to get to national games. There are only 6 athletes selected across the province. 3 of them are right here from Queens. So that kind of tells you something about the program and the commitment and the coaching and and a lot of others that are here as well that trained hard with him and pushed him on. There's so many athletes here in the region of Queens, so we're really thankful. We're a good contingent. So a lot to be proud of there. So I thought what I'd do is individually acknowledge each athlete, and we have our snowshoe team here, and we have Ben Terrio. Ben is with the curling team. The rest of his team is from Lunenburg County. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I think we'll start with Jillian. Jillian, you want to come up? She plays a shy game, but there is no way that game. So I'm going to say a few words, and then I'm going to ask you a question or two, all right? She's used to me because she followed me around every day, every hour. Every hour. Where's her? It's all good. I love her. So, I'm making it up. So Jillian, this is Jillian's first time at National Games. It was also her first time leaving Canada and flying on a plane. Jillian rocked her first National Games. She won a silver medal in her 100-meter race. That's clever. She placed fourth in her 200-meter race and a bronze medal in the 4x100 relay. I don't know where the sinus went, but she's back. That's good. So Jillian had an amazing time and represented Queens County like a champ. Her enthusiasm never dulled the whole week. She made friends with athletes and Team Nova Scotia and all over Canada. She also kept us in stitches and on her toes the whole week. So that was good. So Jillian, this is pretty unscripted stuff, but what was your favorite part of attending National Games?
Dance, hockey games, dance, hockey game, and
That's pretty good. What about that 100 meter, the way it flew down?
and 100 meters.
We had the opportunity, the first day, it was so cold up there, it was like minus 20 degree wind chill factor, like unbelievably cold. They postponed the first day. We were worried they wouldn't fit everything in. We actually did, but we were able to take the snowshoe team over to the Saddle Dome. Good friend of mine, assistant coach for the Flames. He's from the Valley, he's from Nova Scotia. Took us in, did the walk of the dressing room, had their pictures taken and sitting on the bench. And this one here gave Kale McLean a couple undercuts because she likes Boston more than Calgary. Good girl. All right, next. Actually, we'll have Michael Monroe next. There's the star. There's some enthusiasm. This guy never quits. He never quits. So, Michael Monroe was attending his second Winter National Games. He attended the games in 2020 in Thunder Bay, and due to his results, he was chosen to attend World Games, which were going to be held in Russia in 2020, I guess it was. Anyways, as COVID struck and all bad things happened in Russia, he wasn't going to Russia. So he had the opportunity, though, Special Olympics put on a real nice thing. He was able to go to Toronto with some coaching. Cody Oikel, or Colby, was also allowed to go to that. He had earned a spot. These guys worked hard. So, Michael showed the true spirit of Special Olympics in his 100-meter race. The athlete's motto is win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. Michael had a little tumble in his 100-meter race, and in the process, his snowshoe came undone. Not one to give up. He got back up and he finished the race placing 5th in his 200-meter race. So Michael, like, going down the track, and we're waiting for him to finish line, and went down, and the snowshoes kind of at that point, he was probably over halfway through. Did you stop? No. Michael, that thing was flop. We were almost in tears. He crossed that line, and he was just as happy. Big hugs. I finished. He was like, it was great. That's what competing is all about right there. So Michael then he was able to compete in the 4x100 meter and came home with a silver medal. There we go. Heavy dude. Okay, so that was great. So Michael, what was your favorite part of attending national games?
Running and walking and stuff.
Any dancing going on with the girls?
Dance with girls and dancing with more people, a whole bunch.
He didn't stop dancing. That dance night, he was all on, and it was great. It was a great time, wasn't it, Michael?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, buddy. Okay. Rebecca Delaney. Rebecca was attending her first Winter Games, having attended Summer Nationals in 2018 in Antigonish. She had made the national team there. Rebecca scored a gold medal in her 100-meter race, which is very exciting. These are the fastest athletes in the country. We're talking nationals, right? So, well done. In a 200-meter race against 6 other girls in the fastest female heat in all of Canada, she had results. She was 5th fastest in the 200. And so what they do, they division you according to your times. In the 100 race, I think she was divisioned in the 2nd division. She ran so fast in the divisioning for 200. Up she goes, top girls in the whole country, and finished well. And came on well. So Rebecca and Jillian were teamed up with Nikita Penny from Shelburne, actually from Darrington, so we picked up other athletes to fill out the 4x100 team. And of course, so there again, she received the bronze in the 4x100 girls. So that So Rebecca, just at the games, she's so wonderful. So natural-born caregiver. Rebecca made sure all her teammates were cared for, where they need to be, on time, all the comforting, all the encouragement, like, just great. She also came home with many new friends from within Team Nova Scotia across the country. And so, Rebecca, what was your favorite part of being at Games?
Just getting to go and meeting new friends, and especially the hockey and the dance.
So we also have with us Ben Terrio. Come on up, Ben. He's been there, we've done that. That's what he tells me. Right, Ben?
True enough.
All right. So Ben was part of the Lunenburg Queens curling team. His team having their own dedicated ceremony in Lunenburg County, and Ben likely, you're still doing some curling events, and you're still staying active with that. That's good. Ben's been recognized in the past for many accomplishments, including he went to World Games in Dubai in athletics, and that's how he ended up there. That's great. Ben, what was your favorite part of games?
Competing in the highest level and going to the hockey game.
And I will note, like, while we were all back at the hotel, and these are very, very busy days, you're starting, like, I can't tell you what time they're up and going, but it's 6 o'clock, and you're home late. So we're back at the hotel, and these guys are in their final game for gold medal. They ended up, did it go in extra rounds? You want to explain just a short bit on that?
Sure. So we were going through, seeing what we could do, and we was almost going into another end, and we were sitting 3, well, we were sitting 2, and our step was just going to draw in and sit 3. But our step was a little heavy, and we thought that it was light, all fought on that, and we swept it. And then we hit our own rock by accident and lost by 1 point.
But they're second in the whole country, that team. Awesome job. Just that quick. And like I say, they didn't get back till late. There were times some of these teams getting back to the hotel, they had time to shut, like, get supper, have a shower, go to bed, do it all over again. Yeah. So just a couple last minute comments. Gonna say attending these national games wouldn't be possible without drafting an athlete. So there's fundraising that goes on, and there's a lot of community sport and everything like that. But there are some individuals and businesses that really stepped it up to allow for these athletes to go. So in particular, special thanks to the Kiwanis Club, to the Liverpool Kinsman Club, and Jeff Delaney and T&J Delaney Contracting. So I'd like to give it really many things easier. Not everybody has a lot of money to do these big trips, so it's much appreciated. So thanks to everyone who cheered our athletes from near and afar. Memories Cafe also had the jar out, and we had a lot of contributions. There were some other ones that made individual contributions, and really thankful for that. We had pizza parties. We had, we had some good times up there, and that was much appreciated. So, an enormous thanks also goes out to Betty Ann Dory. Betty Ann, who's there right from the start. I think it was probably 4 months, 5 months, like summer training just finished, and we jumped these guys into nationals. And they think the world of Betty Ann, and we think the world of Betty Ann. And she was the designated training coach, and much appreciated. So thanks, Betty Ann, for everything. Last but not least, I know I'm going to get off this mic because it's all good. No, well, last but not least, obviously a huge thanks to the region of Queens and to the wonderful community that we have, being so welcoming and inclusive. It's really important, and there's just this community's behind these athletes. They know it, we know it, and it's wonderful to be part of it. So thank you.
Well, yeah, I think we'll keep this one going, though. Is that okay? Yeah. Great job, Earl. Wonderful stuff. That's really tough to follow, but we're going to give it a shot here with a couple of phenomenal athletes. As you likely know, March is Women's History Month. And how timely is it that 2 young women from Queens County are making history of their own? And we're going to give you a special intro to one. I know you know probably one better than the other, but our job today is to make sure that the one you know less leaves very well known. And I promise you, you're going to hear so much from her in the years to come that it won't even be fun. So let's bring up from the beautiful town of Brooklyn, Abigail Smith. So this is is a young woman who has been winning medals in judo on the provincial, national, and international scene now for the better part of the last 5 years. And when I read your bio, here's the part I love the most. It says you started judo not at 4 years, not at 5 years, but at 4.5 years. Yes. 4.5 you started judo. Why did you love it so much out of the gate, do you think?
That's a really good question. I think it's because I was so aggressive and had so much energy when I was younger. I think it was a good way. I had 2 sisters, so I have 2 sisters, so I think it was a way to get out my anger when I was younger.
Lovely to be your sister. Yeah. You wanted to be a ballerina?
Yeah, I really wanted to be a ballerina, but that didn't work.
So the next best thing, of course, judo.
Yeah, very similar.
Give us a sense of what the sport means to you and where you've been the last couple of years, where it's taken you.
Judo means a lot to me. It's an individual sport, of course, but it's a big team aspect. I wouldn't be where I am without my training partners and my coaches and all of my community supporting me. Lately, I just got back from Denmark, which was my first international event, which I podiumed at, bronze medal. I also was just competing at Elite Nationals, which is the top 8 in Canada, going to like a fight-off tournament. And I did well at that event, placing bronze in senior and my U18 cadet division. So because I did well there, I got selected by Judo Canada to go with Team Canada to compete in Germany.
I know you are like great Nova Scotia athletes that have come before you and that you give back to your sport. I know you coach a lot, and you're actually an ambassador. What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm a true sport ambassador. As of recently, my month is May, so I'm very excited to be doing a lot of promoting during the month of May. But I also coach, yeah, like you said, I help coach. I run an all-women's program up in Halifax. And we also have a new club here, New South Shore, that I also help coach at. So, yeah.
Very nice. And here's the big one. You crystal ball this a bit, okay? Tell us what the next year is going to be and what your eventual goals with the sport of judo are.
So, as I said, I'm going to be heading off to Germany in this month. And then I'll be competing at a few national events in Canada, 1 or 2. And then I'm heading off to Brazil for a month to train and compete at a big event there as well. And my end goal, just like Sarah Mitton, to be world champion and Olympics, of course, and keep progressing as much as I can.
Now here's the thing. You guys grew up a couple of streets away from each other or something?
Yeah, just up the road.
This neighborhood of Brooklyn has the highest grade athlete per capita. I mean, it's incredible. Before I let you go, can you describe what your style is as a judo practitioner? How would you describe your style?
As in?
Well, your dad told me you could choke me out, for example.
Judo is a lot of stand-up and then a lot of groundwork, kind of like similar to jiu-jitsu. Most of my life I've been a stand-up fighter where I like to grab them and then slam them onto the ground. But lately I've been discovering that I really enjoy fighting on the ground. So I've been kind of in between, and I like to do a lot of chokes and arm bars and hold downs, and of course I really like big throws.
Big throws. Go to see, by the way, big throws. Yeah. And listen, I know you won't forget, but make sure you don't forget the name Abigail Smith. Great job, and congratulations. So it was about 2 weeks ago. I got a 12-year-old son who likes to tease me, and we watched Sarah do her thing in Scotland, and he looked her up, and he said to me, "Dad, you and her have the same birthday, June 20th. I go, "Do we?" He goes, "Yeah, June 20th. He goes, "But you're 31 years apart." I said, thank you, son. It's not quite that much, but it's a lot. Anyway, you know the noise she made on the provincial, national, and now international levels. And the neat thing was, about 4 years ago, we were here, right? We were here to see you off to Tokyo. And we had a little tape on the floor that was sort of indicative of what you wanted your personal best to be. It was around 18.5 at the time. Now it's like 20.22, right? Or 20.33 is your best ever. So that's like 3 miles in a marathon she's taken off. It's incredible what she's done the last couple of years. So here's your world champion from Queens County, Sarah Mitton, folks.
I'm proud of you.
So, explain to folks, you've really hit a stride, especially the last couple of years. We're talking about Commonwealth gold, Pan Am gold, World Championship silver, now Indoor World Championship gold. What's been the key to hitting that stride? You want to hold the mic like that?
Yes. I'd love the mic. The stride for me has been like, you know, it might not be 30 years, but I'm turning 28 this year, so the consistency factor has been a big thing. Like I've been throwing for 12, almost 13 years now. You know, think of how many throws I've taken in that time, like hundreds of thousands probably, which is insane to think about. But the consistency on the world stage for me has really come like after the Tokyo Olympics. I didn't perform the way I wanted to, and I ended up, what I consider was a failure going there. And I remember coming back to this community shortly after, and not one person said anything about how poorly I did. And I was like, so I'm the only one who cares. Nobody here cared. And so I remember thinking, like, it's not that serious. Like, I'm out here competing on the world stage, having fun, and everyone has just been a part of this journey for so long. And so from that moment on, it was just about having fun and kind of making the most of every moment. And now the pressure is so little. Like, I think I had like the biggest failure of my life, and not one person ever brought it up again. And so you learn from that, and then there's no longer any fear of failing at that stage. So I'm just so excited to hopefully be able to carry that through this year and support this community and represent people.
Absolutely. So, I just want to follow up on that because as I walked through in Glasgow, I don't know how much fun you're really having throwing this as far as but it looked like you were having fun. You looked loose. And is that kind of what you're getting at? The more fun you have, the better you can be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people bring this up all the time, but like women's shot put is like a very niche sport. So if I'm not having fun doing it, I don't really know what the point is. So for us on like the world stage, like at the time there's 16 girls out there, and most of us are friends. Like we've all been traveling and competing on this scene for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. We've gotten to know each other. Like as soon as we're done throwing, like we eat dinner together, we room together. So if you're not friends, I think like it's just going to be a kind of not any fun to kind of go around all these other countries by yourself and be antisocial. And so when we're out there, like we've all kind of decided that the more fun we have when we're down there, the better everyone throws. And for us, that like really betters the sport for us. It really increases the engagement of everyone watching. And then for me, like it's really helped me relax and be able to have these really big throws when I need the most.
Without getting too technical, what's the feeling like when you know when that put is gone and you know it's at the perfect arc and you've given it everything you have and everything aligned? What's that like for an athlete?
That feeling is so effortless. Like you create so much speed and momentum throughout the circle that I know when I have a big throw, when it almost feels like I didn't do anything at all. But the coolest part is also when I overdo it and I know I threw it with my arm, I might as well just walk right out of the circle. So it's this balance of trying to create this really powerful throw, but do it like really chill. Which is really hard to do because, you get in these environments and everyone's really, the excitement, like you're so excited to be out there and it's easy to get kind of wrapped up in that. And so sometimes you're like, okay, like I'm ready. And like you try a little too hard. And then it's not very good. So then it's kind of like taking a step back and being like, okay, just relax, try to find your groove, and then you'll throw further. So pretty much on every big throw I've ever had, you can hear me say, yeah, that's it, as I let go of the shot put because I felt it, and then I know That's going to be at least a really, like, those thrills are just so indescribable.
I've never said that in anything in life, by the way. When you watch the scores and you were posted and you watch everything, and then all of a sudden you realize you're Sarah Mitton from Brooklyn, Nova Scotia, and you are a world champion. Most athletes say it hasn't sunk in yet. I think it has for you now. What's it mean?
It means a lot. And I have written a little something before I came here, but this is much more my style. But I think the biggest thing for me is like so much of who I am is where I came from, and this community and where I grew up. Like I've learned so much, and kind of like how I carry myself. I've learned that from my family. My mom, Coach Tammy, right there. Just like everybody that has kind of been a part of my journey, like has shaped me into the human being that I am. And most of that comes from here. And so I just want to make sure that when I'm traveling the world, that I'm representing Canada as an East Coaster, and especially as a Nova Scotian. I think that, you know, when you travel the world, you realize that people love Canadians. And when you're in Canada, people say that the East Coast is probably some of the friendliest people you've ever met. So I want to make sure that that's what I'm doing and representing everyone here with so much pride. But I don't know if the world champion thing has set in yet. When he said that earlier, I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, right. But it's really special. I mean, for me, like I'm headed to Paris this summer, and I think it was like the perfect stepping stone for that, now that I know that I can do it.
So you don't always get the chance to hear from a world-class athlete 4 months away from the biggest games in the world. Why don't you tell everybody here what the next 4 months are going to look for you, culminating, of course, with your time in Paris?
I think everyone's been a part of this journey for a long time. I love to compete. The results kind of flow in like every week, so I'm going to change nothing leading into the games. I want to make sure that I'm continuing to do what I've done and what has worked. So for me, I'm going to compete. After this, I'm headed to California for a training camp for 2 weeks, and then I'm actually off to China for 2 of the Diamond League meets, and then followed by more Diamond League meets in Europe, and another Diamond League in Morocco. So the next 4 months are incredibly travel heavy, but also making sure that my focus is still on the end game in Paris. And so doing that, like the results might not be as good as they were this weekend leading into that, but the whole goal is to come out in Paris with a really great performance. So I mean, nothing really changes, but everything changes.
Right. Yeah. And this sounds like a goofy question, but how's your arm? Because I know that there was a time a while back you contemplated surgery a little bit. Yeah. But you treated it instead with the rest of the physio. How's your arm right now?
Yeah, it's funny. This year, it was actually this time last year where I wasn't sure kind of what the future of my shot put career was going to look like. I was having like some really severe elbow pain. And thankfully, like rest, recovery, and a lot of really good support system in Toronto, I was able to kind of get that under wraps. And we still work on that almost every day. But so far, so good. And as long as it stays healthy, I'm going to keep throwing as long as I can.
Yeah. And the start. Yeah. So folks, I'll tell you selfishly, I can't wait for the day that we get to induct this young woman into our Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. But I hope it's a long time away. I hope it's a really long time away, because I'm sure you got 2 or 3 more huge events in you. So, folks, one more hand for the hometown hero, Sarah Mitton.
I just want to say one last thing that kind of touches on something that's already been said is the amount of money, unfortunately, that it takes to do this sport, and for Abigail and the Special Olympians to be able to travel and compete it's a lot. Like a lot of that falls on the athletes, their families, and everyone. And I know this community has been so giving and so supportive for me. And I just want to make, I would be so grateful if you could extend that to them. Because when I was in their position, I remember I was selling fish. We were doing so many different fundraisers, and everyone really stepped up for me. And thankfully now I'm in a place where a lot of my things are covered. I mean, you don't win one of these, and then thankfully a lot of that is covered, but for these athletes, like they're in the time of the where it's make it or break it with kind of the financial aspect of things. So yeah, support your fundraisers. Because they're phenomenal.
Let's not get much better than that. Thank you all. Thank you all. That was spectacular. Steve, you want to come back up and wrap? Yeah. Folks, thanks again for the invitation. And boy, I love coming to Queens County. That wall is very inspiring. And I know this guy does a ton of work too. So a hand for Steve as we say goodbye.
Thank you, Bruce. You know, it's certainly a team effort. And Heather, thank you for all your hard work as we put this event together. Just extraordinary athletes, extraordinary presentation, so real, and it'll stick with us for a long time. And, you know, congratulations to you all, and all the best in your futures as we will be following you. Now we'll, I guess, let the athletes and coaches, Bruce and Mike and Earl, have some time with some media folks if they would like, some photos, etc. And we'll open the canteen window there. There's some coffee and some coffee, tea, and water available. So stick around, mingle, meet and greet, and have some fun. Thank you very much for coming today. Thank you.